Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if it is better to focus on your own happiness or try to make society a happier place for everyone? Well, this new study dives deep into that exact question. Imagine trying to figure out what makes an entire country happy. It is a huge puzzle, right? Scientists have looked at why individuals are happy for a long time. But understanding what makes a whole society thrive is much trickier. Some things that make one person happy might actually make a whole community less happy. And vice versa, that's the core puzzle this research tackles. What makes societies, not just individuals, happier? They came up with two main ideas, like two paths leading to a happier society. The first is the individualistic path. Think of it as this. If everyone just takes care of their own happiness, the whole society will naturally become happier. It's like saying, look out for number one, and everything else will fall into place. This idea often connects with the belief that freedom of choice and personal expression are key. The second idea is the communitarian path. This one is different. It suggests that society creates a supportive environment where people's actions naturally make those around them happier. It is more about how things work together, how one person's actions in a good society can lift others up. So, they wanted to see which path was more effective in making countries happier. They looked at a massive amount of data from over 97,000 people across 66 different countries. That is like getting a snapshot of happiness from almost every corner of the globe. They explored over 200 different things that might influence happiness, from social values and trust to economic factors and security. They used a clever method. They looked at whether a specific factor, like being trusting, made an individual person happier directly, or if it was more about living in a country where most people were trusting that made everyone happier. Think of it like this. If people who are more trusting are happier, that is an individualistic effect. But if countries where most people are trusting are happier overall, even for those who aren't super trusting themselves, that is a communitarian effect. They basically measured how much each factor influenced happiness at the individual level versus the country level. They collected data from the World Values Survey, which is this really comprehensive study that asks people all sorts of questions about their lives, beliefs, and happiness. They focused on using data that could be compared across all these different countries. So, to measure happiness, they asked people directly, overall, taking all things together, would you say you are very happy, rather happy, not very happy, or not at all happy? For life satisfaction, they used a scale from 1 to 10 asking how satisfied people were with their lives as a whole. They used fancy math called multi-level analysis. Basically, it helps them look at data that has different layers, like individuals nested within countries. This is super important because it allows them to see how things affect people directly and also how those things impact the whole country. They set a threshold to decide what counts as a significant finding. If a factor strongly influenced happiness, they considered it important. They found 56 factors that were significant. And now for the big reveal. Which path worked better? Drumroll please. The communitarian path significantly outperformed the individualistic path. That is right, it is more effective for society as a whole to create a context for happiness than for everyone to just focus on their own happiness. The research showed that the communitarian pathway was a much stronger predictor of societal happiness. It explained way more of why some countries are happier than others. So, what does this actually mean in practice? They categorized these 56 factors into 5 main drivers of happiness. The first driver is society allowing for individual emancipation. This means creating a society where people have the freedom to make their own choices about how they live and are accepted for who they are. Think inclusivity, equality, and acceptance of different lifestyles. They found that this driver mostly works through the communitarian path. It's not necessarily about individuals fighting for their own emancipation that makes them happier, but about the society creating that space for everyone. The second driver is fostering Enlightenment ideas and institutions. This includes things like human rights, democracy, tolerance, and a focus on reason and knowledge. It's about building a society based on fairness and progress. This driver, they found, works both individually and through the communitarian path, shaping society for the better. The third driver is about satisfying basic human needs. This is pretty straightforward, having access to food, water, shelter, and security. When these are met, people are happier. Interestingly, this driver mostly worked through the individualistic path. When your own basic needs are met, you are happier, but it didn't necessarily make your neighbors happier. The fourth driver is providing effective governing and security institutions. This means having trust in your government, the justice system, and the police. When people feel their institutions are working well, they are happier. Like satisfying basic needs, this one also leaned towards the individualistic path when you feel the system is working. You are happier. And the fifth driver is favoring small in-group ties. This is about belonging to your local community, your family, your friends. Having strong bonds there makes individuals happier. However, this one had a twist. Things like strong in-group ties could actually make the country less happy overall, perhaps by not fostering broader trust or leading to division. They really emphasize that the communitarian path is the stronger one for societal happiness. It's about creating that supportive environment where collective well-being is fostered. Now, like any study, this one has its limits. They gathered data from 2018 to 2020, and the global situation has changed a lot since then. Also, using countries as the main unit of analysis can sometimes hide important differences within a country, and the idea of happiness itself can be understood differently in different cultures, which they acknowledge. They also mentioned that their data is cross-sectional, meaning it is a snapshot in time. It is hard to say for sure that one thing causes another, and they pointed out that happiness can mean different things across cultures. So future studies might need to look at those different cultural meanings more closely. So what's the big takeaway? This research suggests that focusing on building a society that supports the well-being of everyone, rather than just encouraging individuals to pursue their own happiness, is the more effective way to create a truly happy society. It's about fostering civic engagement, inclusive institutions, and mutual care. It's a call for us to think more collectively about happiness. It is not just about feeling good as an individual, but about how we can create systems and environments that allow everyone to thrive. This is super important as we face global challenges like polarization and ecological issues. We need a science of collective well-being. This research doesn't just tell us that community matters, it shows us how much it matters on a global scale. It's a powerful reminder that our individual happiness is deeply intertwined with the happiness and well-being of the society we live in. What do you think about these two pathways to societal happiness? Do you see yourself leaning more towards the individualistic or communitarian approach in your own life or community? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more explorations into the fascinating world of psychology. We'll see you in the next one.